Hello, welcome to the Fear Fighter podcast. My name is Dr. Chandra Smallwood, and today we are talking about anxiety and the leftover woman. So, this is such a topic. I think it was first brought to light not first, but it was brought to light recently with Kevin Samuels and the African American population and his whole thing with women, high value men, leftover women. I have nothing bad to say about Kevin Samuels. I believe that some of his rhetoric was appropriate, and I feel like some of it, it was good subjects, he just said it in an all bad bashing type of way that I feel like makes some men feel like speaking to women that way is acceptable, when really it's not acceptable to talk to anyone that way, man or woman. I digress. Anyway, so let's talk about the leftover woman and the anxiety of it. So when we talk about anxiety, we're always talking about things that are uncertain. We don't know. It's the result of lots of stress, and our body feels the stress. It goes into a survival mode, which we call anxiety, and that's how it's just a bunch of symptoms: increased heart rate, chest tightness, nausea, all sorts of things like mental cloudiness, body discomfort, a lot of different things. There's so many ways people have anxiety, from sitting there being stuck to having panic attacks. It's a lot. So, but in this case, this has to do with a certain population of women. Not preferably, but women that are usually over 27, unmarried. So I'm going to be reading some things because leftover woman has a lot of connotations and it's used a lot in the world. So in China, leftover woman is used a lot and it's called xingnu. And this is for women over 27 who are still single. This is a classification for women who remain unmarried in their late 20s and beyond. This also goes into other countries such as India, here, North America, and different parts of Asia. This is comparing unmarried women to leftover food. So in China, as many of you know, for a long time, they had a one-child-only rule. I guess that's more lax now, so they can have more kids, especially since there is an overwhelming amount of men than women. Like 30 million more men than women, which, is crazy. So they want to have a strong workforce so they can be competitive in the global marketplace, right? So they felt that men are stronger and better and smarter and all that stuff. So there were all those abortions that killed off female children so there would be more men. But now with the imbalance, they're worried that there's not going to be enough siblings, offspring to take care of the population as it ages. Which makes sense, obviously, because men can't have children by themselves. So there's been lots of movies about this and everything like that. One of the movies, there's an author, Lita Hong Fincher, who was the author of a documentary called Leftover Women, The Resurgence of Gender Equality in China. So she believes that the Chinese government, concerned with creating a so-called high-quality workforce that can compete in the global marketplace, coined the phrase as part of an aggressive propaganda campaign to coerce educated women out of the workforce and into matrimony and motherhood. With falling birth rates and much speculation on the impact of China's economy, Fincher argues that the government is deliberately frightening women into believing that if they delay marriage, no one will want to marry them at all. The government is focused on marrying off urban, educated women because it does not want rural, uneducated women to have more babies. This goes hand in hand with the population quality. They want these women to build a new generation of skilled workers. The pressure that these women are going through. So, of course, all their parents are like, get married. Everyone wants you to get married. It means nothing. You're nothing if you don't get married, no matter how educated you are, no matter how much you can take care of yourself. It doesn't matter. So, for me, I am what you would call a leftover woman. I am over the age of 35. I am unmarried. I have one child. Now, there are lots of reasons to not get married. Lots. Especially when I believe love is not enough, you know. A lot of women, especially women who are educated, who have worked really hard most of their lives, feel like, you know, I want to meet the right man. I want to meet someone who I get along with, someone who will make me happy, someone who I want to make happy, and all those other things, you know? And that's hard to find. And sometimes you have to spend time with someone to see what they're like. And that can, you know, just prolong everything. So from after college, I was single. Well, this was in graduate school, actually. After undergrad, I was single from 25 to 30, which is basically the same time I was in graduate school. And then 30, after I graduated, I was in a relationship for 5 years. We broke up. I then was in a new relationship for 5 years, had a baby, broke up. So, you know, I feel that 5 years was an adequate amount of time to see if we were compatible. Probably too long, definitely too long. But I tried, he tried, we tried, and it didn't work out. So, you know, now here we are. Here I am, a leftover woman. When it comes to anxiety, you know, I think all sorts of things, you know. Yeah, I'm older. There's less men available. You think all the good ones are taken. But unfortunately, we're also at the age where people are now divorcing. You know, the people that we've known that got married when we were in our 20s and everything, they're ending their relationships. And people are becoming single again. You know, I don't know if people feel like I feel like, okay, maybe my best bet at this age is to find a man who is married, who was married, who's been married, and has children and has that experience, right? Because at this age, as a woman, when you become over 40, you just, for anyone, I think you just kind of know yourself better. You know what you want. You are settling down. You're ready to settle down for the most part. And you want someone who's there. And men are notoriously, to women, cheating and untrustworthy. And since they're visual, always chasing the next mini skirt that walks by. And that's a lot of times how we feel. Now, I, at this moment, am currently in a relationship with a man, but we are not married. Will we get married? Potentially. I don't know. I guess if it works out. But I feel the pressure sometimes to not say the things that I feel in order to be less aggressive, more submissive, just not cause a problem even though something may bother me. You know, and I think, I don't know, is that what I should do? Or should I continue to vocalize the issues that I have to him and, you know, see what happens? But when speaking to Kevin Samuels, I mean, I did not speak to Kevin Samuels, but when speaking of him, he talks a lot about women who are older, the modern women, we're just very hard to deal with, you know? But I mean, once you get to a certain age, you know, what are you going to give into the bullshit for? Like, we've been there, done that. Like, you know, I wasn't born yesterday. I've been to the barbecue, all that stuff. I mean, if it's bullshit, I'm gonna call bullshit. But should I? I don't know. And that's where my anxiety comes in, because, you know, at this age, I'm older, but I still expect to be loved, genuinely and wholeheartedly, and for a man to try. So I want to also add that as women are getting older and are just more left over and more left over, we tend to be meeting younger men. I definitely know some younger men who are more wanting to get married than the women in their same category, because just like I was focused on like my education and my career and, you know, following my hopes and dreams and everything like that. And either some of those men, I don't want to say didn't want to do that, but they may have done it in other ways. Maybe they were an entrepreneur, or they didn't, you know, attend graduate school, where there's like a high number of women attending graduate school and getting advanced degrees, and there are less men. But, you know, men also get paid more and tend to get hired for better jobs, basically because they're men. So say like the man I am dating now is younger than me. And I mean, I'm not going to say it's better or worse than anyone else, because everyone has their own timeline. And I mean, I guess at his age, he's ready. And at my age, I just got ready to want to, you know, become married. This is the first man I ever thought that I would potentially get married to. And I'm not, you know, it's hard to want to feel bad about that, even though sometimes I do. And I think I should have been more intentional before about finding a husband, but did I really want a husband? I don't know. You know, it's hard to think about having to give up, because we as women know that when we're in relationships and we have children, we're the ones that usually give up more of ourselves. And I don't mean that in a bad way whatsoever. That's just our nature, like our motherly nature. That's just how we are. So a lot of times when women don't want to have children or don't want to get married, they think to themselves, well, you know, I don't want to give up life. I don't want to give up the things that I could potentially have for a man who gets to do all of that. You know, you may love your kids, but let's be honest. The government, nobody cares about us being mothers and the child care that we have to give and the time we have to take off of work and how hard it is, or, you know, whatever. Like, I commute to work, and when I have to pick up my daughter, I can't drop her off in the morning, drive on my commute, work, leave at my regular time, and pick her up and make it to her daycare on time. Like, if I drop her off, I can't pick her up on time. It's one or the other. So that makes it very difficult, but no one cares about that. So, but then everyone is like, oh, you should have a kid, you should get married. And we think, dang, that's, you know, in order to be happy, I have to give up that part of my life, something that I may want to do. And I mean, that's hard to do. So I don't know. But I decided that I was gonna ask ChatGPT about this. Let me turn off this heater because it's burning me up. So I asked ChatGPT, since we're all in this AI kick these days, how to decrease the anxiety of being a leftover woman. The term leftover woman is a derogatory term used in some cultures to describe unmarried women who are older. Here are some tips to help decrease anxiety related to being a leftover woman. 1, reframe your thinking. Instead of thinking of yourself as a leftover woman, reframe your thinking to focus on your strengths, accomplishments, and the things that make you happy. Remember that being single does not define you as a person. That's a good little bit of advice because it definitely does not define us. It also doesn't help us get into a relationship that we love either. I think we need to remember that sometimes as women, especially as we get older, we tend to stay in more. And if we are interested in getting married, if we are interested in meeting someone, that we have to get out of the house. And I know a lot of times we join dating sites and things like that, but you know, that is it's a very superficial amount of information you can put on a dating site and hope to find like the man of your dreams or the woman of your dreams. Like, I think it's very difficult. For the small amount of time that I was on a dating site, I was like, okay, I'm not going to worry about how this man looks so much. But you kind of have to, because it's like, you only have this little bit of information. You have these little bit of pictures. You know, you never know what someone's saying, if they're just putting their best foot out there at the moment or what. But at least you want to be like, well, at least I could be attracted to him. Let's start there. And then it just reinforces this whole superficial way of looking for a partner. I mean, you want to be attracted, yeah. But also, if you're spending money and time on the computer to find someone, you kind of just want more. But people do it, so, you know, hey, more power to them. Number 2, connect with others. Connect with others who are in a similar situation or share your interests. Join clubs or organizations that interest you, attend events, and seek opportunities to meet new people. Building a support system of friends and family can help you feel less alone. Yeah, like I said, let's get out the house. Let's get out the house and meet people. There's lots of interesting people in this world, but a lot of times we have to go somewhere. One of the stories I was reading about, one of the Chinese women who was, you know, feeling like she felt about getting married and she wanted to be, she wanted to be able to do her thing, be successful, be educated, all of that. She ended up leaving for France to work. Then she ended up going to Germany. She met a German man. They got married. Hey, live however happily ever after. So sometimes you just got to get out, you know, get out of your comfort zone. Because I'm definitely not meeting anyone. I mean, if I was single, even though I'm legally single, obviously, because I'm not married, I would have to leave my living room. But today it's raining, so nah, probably not so much. Focus on self-care is number 3. That is always something to do when you feel anxiety, because your body is feeling stressed and you need to help it to feel relaxed. So your mind, when you feel anxious, your mind needs to go to, how can I take care of myself? What do I need to do? You know, where can I lay down? Where can someone massage me? You know, where can I hear some calming music and just chill out? Because your body needs you to chill out because you've had it on high alert for so long, it's freaking out. So take care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Exercise regularly, eat a balanced diet, get enough sleep, and practice the self-care activities that make you feel good, such as reading, taking a bath, or meditating. All those are wonderful. A bath for me is like my meditation comfort time. I will be in the shower for like 30 minutes to an hour. Don't disturb me. Don't come in. 4, set goals. Set achievable goals for yourself and work towards them. This can help you feel a sense of purpose and accomplishment, and you can help to focus the things that matter most to you. I feel like setting goals is the reason why a lot of women become leftover women. They've just been setting goals and like wanting to accomplish them or accomplishing them and all that stuff. And the goal was never really to find a man. So yeah, that's a good tip, Chat GPT, but it's also counterintuitive. But I mean, if you find yourself really pining on this and thinking about this situation, you know, maybe finding a suitable partner or goal would be good for you. Because like I said, I was not intentional. And now I'm more intentional, but I'm also like, ooh, how much do I cater? The last tip by ChatGPT is to seek professional help. If you find that your anxiety is interfering with your daily life, consider talking to someone. A therapist, a counselor can help you work through your feelings and develop coping strategies to manage your anxiety. That's like me. Let's talk. I am an anxiety coach. I would love to counsel you and help you, and we can just talk about different things, because I feel like at times, especially when you have anxiety, it's a very alone feeling. And that is what I felt. Like, even though I shared it with my friends and everyone, I've always been very vocal about it, I still knew that they didn't know what I was talking about for the most part. At least at the time, or maybe they didn't feel comfortable talking about it. But, that does really help a lot. It does. In conclusion, per ChatGPT, remember, being single is not a negative thing, and there is no right or wrong timeline to get married. Everyone's journey is unique, and it's important to focus on your own path and what makes you happy. That's a great conclusion to all of this. So, women, if you think about what the late Kevin Samuels said, or how he spoke to women, I just take it with a grain of salt. It's one person's opinion, and when he started focusing on men, he switched to women, and then made hella more money. So, yeah, it is what it is. I guess just like brands target women to go shopping, he targeted women to make more money. For a man who was divorced twice, has an estranged daughter, and was definitely a leftover man who died alone. So, what can you say? R.I.P. to Kevin Samuels.